This is State Senator Toni Boucher. Just when you think you can't make a difference, you have. The public spoke out, and they spoke out very loudly, and we were able to defeat the mileage-driven proposal that the governor was going to spend $300,000 to study a plan and put in place a pilot to actually tax you for every mile you drive by putting a chip in your car. Luckily, we passed a bill in the Transportation Committee to prohibit that, and just a week or two later, the governor pronounced that issue was dead. They were not going to pursue it. So luckily now, the state taxpayers have $300,000 back into the state budget. Beyond that, though, however, there are other bills that we're very concerned about. Certainly the toll bill is one of them. It is something I am fighting very hard against. The reason for that is that a toll, for many of us, is really another tax. And just this week, Connecticut was pronounced the #1 highest tax state in the entire country. $2,279 in taxes for every man, woman, and child in the state of Connecticut. It is above any other of the 50 states in this country. Therefore, a toll on our state highways would be just another tax. It would burden our taxpayers more than it would out-of-state drivers. In fact, 70% of the public would be from in-state individuals that would have to go through a toll. It would be one thing if the state of Connecticut did not have a state income tax, or if the state income tax had deductions, or if they had no inheritance or gift tax, or a car is property tax, or even tax on pensions. As many other states have these exceptions to taxing, that is why they have a toll. They also have a much lower gas tax. In many cases, 20 to 30 cents less per gallon than the state of Connecticut. That's why they have a toll. In Connecticut, this proposal would be additional, a toll cost on top of one of the highest gas taxes, by the way, that have an 8% percentage tax on every gallon of gas that you put in your car. For that reason, and for the reason that this would be a direct pay cut to the citizens of our state of Connecticut, those that have to drive across the border every day, the toll idea is a bad idea. It's a bad idea because already transportation funds that the state has is being used for other purposes, not for our roads, not for our rails. On our side of the aisle, we have a proposal that would use current state bonding capacity, current state funds in a better way that would augment our investment in rails and in roads and our transportation infrastructure without taxing you 1 penny more, without putting in a toll. And so for that reason, we should continue to oppose this bill. Another bill that is very controversial and is truly an anti-business bill that is being heard in the Finance Committee, of which I am opposing vehemently, would put a 19% tax on any investment advisory services in our state. That would hit this industry very hard. We already have seen the loss of big marquee companies like GE to Massachusetts and other states. And now there's a proposal to tax that industry 19%. Did you know that in Connecticut, 1/3 of all hedge funds in the country, never mind the country, in the world, are located here in Connecticut? This proposal would literally be a death knell to another golden goose that is paying the vast majority of the taxes in Connecticut. That's why we have to fight against it. We have to be much more careful about the way in which we put proposals in the legislature, the way in which we propose a budget. And that is another hot topic, as you all well know, the state budget, how we fund education, how we fund our towns. This is getting a big debate, especially this year when we're tied 18-18 in the Senate. Remember, Connecticut can no longer go to the taxpayer, can no longer grab the last remaining pennies that people have in their pocket, because it has already done it. Since 2011, 77 new taxes were added, including a tax on yoga and everything else you might even think about. And as a result, have we have a surplus funds? No, we've collected more in taxes, but we're in deficit every single year. Have we regained our jobs lost during the last recession? No, we've only gained 70%, whereas every other state in New England has gained at least 100%, and in New Hampshire's case, 189%, and Massachusetts has gained nearly 300% of its jobs. We lose population in each of the last 3 years. So obviously the policies that have been implemented by the majority party has not worked. We need to make a change. That change is using current resources better, cutting back on costs, cutting back on fringe benefits that are way too high, and use what we have instead of going to the taxpayer once again, and certainly funding our school systems in a more responsible way, and helping our hospitals as well that have been another target of very bad budgeting. So I will bring you more up-to-date information as the session moves along. We're only halfway through. Again, it's a tie, 18 in the Senate, which means we're going to have very active debates, and a lot of these taxing proposals may not see the light of day, at least if we are determined enough to prevent it. Again, your voice made a difference this year. Know that you have a strong one and let it be heard. Thank you so much. This is Toni Boucher. Until the next time.